Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We're gonna go ahead and give it maybe one more minute as people start settling in. In the meantime, we're gonna be dropping a question for you in the chat. We'd love to hear where it is that you're joining from. Let's give it one more minute and then we can get started. Atlanta, Pennsylvania. Okay. That's awesome. Michigan. Okay, that's great. I'll let everybody start answering. Let's see. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, we have a good mix. I'm excited. Some people are still trickling in, but I'll go ahead and get started just for the sake of being on time. So, just as a little introduction, my name is Maria Pamela, and I'm an associate search manager here at the Watson Institute team. I'm joined by my colleague Sandra, and we're just excited to tell you a little bit about our impact fellowships and specifically the flagship fellowship and the Rising Leaders of Mexico Fellowship that we're currently recruiting for, and it's an active opportunity. Again, thank you all for joining. Let's get started. So, a little background about Watson Institute itself. Watson Institute is a place where impact-driven entrepreneurs and leaders can really find their community, discover their calling, and accelerate their careers. What does this fully mean, though? So, essentially, what we do at Watson is we power fully funded transformative fellowships for highly promising impact-driven entrepreneurs. And we do this in partnerships with leading corporations, foundations, and together with that, we provide comprehensive support and training to ultimately help fellows make meaningful impact in their communities, as well as providing access to a global network that is the incredible Watson Institute community. More on this community. I think it's incredibly important to highlight our alumni. Watson Institute has impacted over 6,000 fellows, and that has ultimately caused 10 million people to be impacted through these ventures that we've helped to scale and support these incredible entrepreneurs. In terms of just other things that the alumni have done through their ventures, they've created over 1,900 paid part or full-time jobs and collectively raised over 185 million in capital. So we just love to highlight our alumni. Not only have they come in with incredible energy to continue wanting to create impact, but they've gone on to do incredible things as well. Some of them have gone on to be on the Forbes 30 under 30 list. There was a couple alumni who were accepted into the Y Combinator, another one into Echoing Green. So again, really, we do see Watson Institute as sort of like this launching pad where it's not really a start or an end, but a good in between in these professional careers of these incredible entrepreneurs. 90% of the alumni are currently either building a venture, they're employed, or they're continuing their education. And 59% of Watson Institute alumni remain in touch with their mentor or impact series teacher up to 10 years after graduation, which again, just think it speaks volumes of the community and of the network and the alignment that we do see in our impact-driven entrepreneurs. Lastly, I just want to highlight that we have positively impact over almost 2,000 entrepreneurs this past fiscal year, and we aim to impact 10,000 more over the next 3. And then we have some satisfactory rates from alumni. We're incredibly proud that not only the alumni had a great experience, but that they continue to see the ramifications of being part of Watson Institute. So, with all that background, I would love to tell you now about the Flagship Fellowship. So, I'm currently recruiting for the Flagship Fellowship. I would be your best point of contact here. Just wanted to leave that out first. But really, the Flagship Fellowship is designed with impact-driven entrepreneurs in mind, and the program is created to help them achieve product market fit and scale their ventures. The programming across the board for Watson really includes access to this global network of entrepreneurs that I have mentioned, the award-winning education and training designed to strengthen critical, not only business skills, but leadership skills necessary to scale ventures, as well as mentorship from seasoned professionals, venture capitalists, executives, and all that great stuff. In terms of, the type of entrepreneur we're looking for, or the type of venture of the entrepreneur that we're looking for. There are some overarching themes. Those include environmental sustainability, renewable energy, youth empowerment, tech education, social impact, e-commerce and responsible retail, technology and software development, addressing the impacts of climate change. I could keep going, but really it comes down to as well is our entrepreneur who's applying creating impact in the space that they're in. Lastly, I do want to mention that this fellowship is open globally. There are some priority markets such as the US, East Africa, a couple of countries mentioned here, as well as Brazil and China, but we really do encourage everyone to apply if the programming is something that speaks to them. As for the timeline of the programming, it's 16 weeks. It would start August 18th and go to November 25th. We will be having an in-person component where we're headquartered in Boulder, Colorado, which is just an action-packed week, again, designed with impact-driven entrepreneurs in mind. And then the remaining 15 weeks of the programming would be virtual and culminate in what we call our community-based event, the Summit. Lastly, I just want to highlight that our priority deadline is June 22nd, but we do encourage all potential applicants to not wait until the deadline, just because we do start to admit on a rolling basis. So the sooner you apply, the higher chances you have to get into the program. And then I just want to highlight some notable alumni from our past fellowships, from our past flagship fellowship. Michelle and Ryan, really, I think they not only encapsulate, the drive for creating impact through the work that they're doing in the space that they're doing it, but it really highlights the type of ventures that we have supported throughout the flagship fellowship. So Michelle, she's an event manager platform dedicated to transforming how events and our plan managed and executed and really addressing the environmental degradation caused by unsustainable practices. And then we have Rin, who has the Virtual Oasis Tech, and she empowers diverse neurodivergent minds and marginalized individuals through creativity and knowledge, sharing to drive positive, again, environmental change. So just wanted to show you a little bit to highlight, what it is that these entrepreneurs that we're looking for could look like. With that being said, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Sandra, who's going to tell you about the Rising Leaders of Mexico Fellowship.
Thank you very much. Hi all, my name is Sandra and I am recruiting for the Rising Leaders of Mexico Fellowship. This is an opportunity for entrepreneurs or leading that are creating impact or are based on Mexico and are interested in scaling their impact venture. What we're looking for is entrepreneurs that are working in education, technology, financial literacy, sustainable manufacturing, nutrition, agriculture, e-commerce, health and care, renewable energy, or technology, software, or AI development. What we require is that they are based in Mexico or creating the impact in Mexico. Any part of Mexico entrepreneurs are welcome, but we're going to be given a little bit of priority to applicants based on Baja California Sur, Oaxaca, or Monterrey. So if any of you guys are working on those areas and are looking to scale their venture to the product market fit or growing your own project, and you already have any type of impact, you are more than welcome to join and apply to this fellowship. This program will be running from August 18 to November 25, and we have some in-person components during the first week of the programming. So we require our applicants to have valid visa to travel and to be able to be at Colorado for 1 week. This means from August 17 to August 24. And the application deadline for this program is also June 22nd. And the sooner you apply, more opportunities you have to be part of this amazing cohort. Now, some of our notable impact alumni is Miroslava. She's the co-founder of Erandi Aprendi, a bilingual AI-powered design that it is designed for Latin girls or youth between 8 and 12 years old and is addressing STEAM with cultural basis and fostering creativity, critical thinking, and inclusion. And then we have Kelvin. He is the co-founder of Kai, and this is an innovation AI tool that transforms WhatsApp into a CRM type of platform that helps business with a essential generation of ERP system. So with that, I will go back to Maria Pamela.
So let's talk about the in-person component of the fellowship. So this is kind of where, and not to confuse you, but this is sort of where the Rising Leaders of Mexico and Flagship Fellowship merge during this in-person immersive in Boulder, Colorado. In terms of the date, it kicks off, the official dates are Monday to Friday, August 18th to November 25th, with the only difference being that the Rising Leaders of Mexico will have one extra day towards the end of that week. In terms of, what goes on during the immersive, really we see it as an incredible opportunity to begin to get a sense of what the Watson Institute community looks like, as well as really to begin to forge relationships with the fellows that you're going to be going through this programming with. So again, it's in Boulder, Colorado, and it just offers this unique opportunity to connect with like-minded entrepreneurs. You begin to engage with our network, as well as some mentors, preceptors, which is what we call our in-house educators, alumni, and just begin to receive that valuable guidance from experienced entrepreneurs who are involved with Watson Institute because they're ultimately eager to support other entrepreneurs in continuing to create impact. Once we kick off with the immersive, like I said, it's going to be 1 week. That's really the only in-person component that there is. We then switch to the virtual programming, which will be Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Mountain Time. We normally like to cushion it to about 8 to 10 hours per week of time commitment, and are honestly very transparent about the fact that this is a significant time commitment. So we always encourage all potential fellows to think about that time commitment when applying and seeing if it's something doable given their schedule. In terms of just some core components of the programming, like I said, we have the virtual workshops. Some will be leading a base camp, which is a 1 to 3 community-led event in your community, again, if applicable, as well as culminating the programming with what we call a summit. The summit will be virtual for Flagship Fellowship Fellows, and it'll be a community-based event, whereas the Rising Leaders of Mexico will have an in-person summit from December 2nd to December 4th in Punta Mita. So again, the programming itself and the expectations for both Rising Leaders of Mexico and Flagship are hand in hand. But, when thinking about applying and looking at all these dates, please pay attention to these details and make sure that this is something that you're not only available and excited to do, but that it is realistic for you to do as well. Let me see if I missed anything. I think we're good. Yeah. Okay, the application process. So you go online, you complete the application. Really, it shouldn't take more than 45 minutes to fill out, but within that, I think everyone can sort of respond to the application in the best way that they deem possible. The priority deadline, like we mentioned, for both of these fellowships is June 22nd, but again, we encourage you to apply as soon as possible. We're accepting on a rolling basis, and then after that deadline, applications will be accepted on a rolling basis. But again, the sooner you apply, the better it is. As for the interview, our admissions team is reviewing applications here on our back end, depending on the criteria, eligibility, as well as venture stage, in some cases, location. All of that criteria, you will be invited for a 20-minute Zoom interview, either with Sandra or with myself. And we will ask you a little bit more about your venture, what it is that you're doing, and just get a better idea of what it is that you'd ultimately like to accomplish through the Flagship Fellowship. And again, it just allows us to dive a little bit deeper into, who the entrepreneur is behind the application, as well as just get a better understanding of what you're doing, what you'd ultimately like to accomplish. As for acceptance and enrollment, acceptance notifications will be sent out on a rolling basis. Applicants will need to confirm in a timely manner their enrollment to secure the spot. But that'll be a little bit further down the line and we'll be very much in touch with you. So no stress there. And then the program would kick off August 18th, 2025 in Boulder, Colorado. So, well, at least for the majority, I'm not going to get into all those details, but yes, I'm not sure. I think this is pretty much it. I want to get into the application tips for sure. Okay. So when you're thinking of applying and filling out these questions that we ask you are incredibly helpful for us to get an understanding of what you're doing and where you're at. When thinking about program fit, think about your venture, think about, how you're creating impact, what's the motivation to join. We really do want to see that reflected in your application. We encourage you to check out eligibility, requirements. We do have a variety of different opportunities and one might be better for you than the other. So we really encourage you to take a look at that. In terms of venture stage and quality, really we go back to, the scaling part of it all. So not only are you creating impact, but are you in a place where our programming can benefit you and you can take that knowledge to then grow your venture and whatever that looks like. This in terms of venture stage and quality, we also encourage you to provide any external links. You'll see that there's a slot in the application. Any external links that demonstrate the work that you're doing, whether it's a news article, a feature, whatever that looks like, the more the better, because it will just help us get a better idea of what it is that you're doing and seeing that in action. So that's definitely a tip I'd like to share. And as for, just like the quality of it all, tell us where you are now. Tell us how, in present time, where you are now, how much you have accomplished. And from there, make sure to also tell us how the flagship fellowship is relevant in your growth and how ultimately what you'd like to get out of it. So again, we can really get an understanding of not only what you're doing, but is this the right fit for you based on where you're at? And again, I think this is fourth or fifth time I'm saying it, apply early. Do not wait until that deadline to submit your application. We review on a rolling basis. And I think that's the last time I'll say that one. But yeah, I hope it sticks. And with that being said, I open it up to questions. If you could either raise your hand or go off mute, whatever works best for you guys.
We have a few questions here in the chat.
Okay, let's see.
So one of those is, let me see. Please give the time parameters from Tuesday to Thursday meetings.
Oh, so that's 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Mountain Time. We blankly state Mountain Time because, again, we just reel it back to being headquartered in Boulder, Colorado. But we encourage everyone to adapt that time zone to their time zone and just see if it's something that would work. It would be Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Mountain Time. Let's see, what else?
Thank you. Can you clarify on qualifications for entrepreneurs? Example, time of business, annual revenue, etc.
So really that depends on, the flagship fellowship is looking for certain things and the rising leaders are looking for certain things. If I'm not going to get into the intricacies of both, definitely we'll send some links out so that you can go on to the pages and read those for yourself. But in terms of the entrepreneur we're looking for, the best way I could say it, and Sandra, please jump in if you want to say it a little bit better, but the best way I could say it is, are you creating impact? Do you have the time commitment to commit to this to ultimately benefit from it? And the last thing I'll say, again, just generally, is are you at a point where you have traction, you have an existing customer base, and you're looking to scale? Really, Watson Institute thrives in that missing middle stage, which is where essentially entrepreneurs have had a certain amount of growth. They want to get to this point, but they need this missing middle knowledge, resources. So really it's a matter of, is the entrepreneur's venture at a place where the programming for scaling can benefit them? I hope that answers your question. And again, we'll go ahead and send you some more links for you to more carefully read the
Thank you, Maria
eligibility for
Pamela.
each one.
We have one more in the chat and then we can jump into the ones that are raising hands.
Perfect, perfect.
And the last one is, how do you see nonprofits as entrepreneurs?
Well, really when we're looking at the applications that come in, the type of venture, the type of business, for profit, not profit, it really comes down to, are you creating impact with the work that you're doing? So, nonprofits, I don't necessarily, I'm trying to think of the best way to say it, but if an entrepreneur sets up a 501(c)(3) and they're creating impact, I mean, I just see it as someone who saw a need in a community and addressed it. And I don't know if you want to add anything, Sandra, but that's sort of the way I see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the way you see it.
Yeah.
If you're a nonprofit and you have like an impact created, or if you have been receiving funding from any type of organizations, you can also include it so we can see it, that you already have some partners and it's something serious that you're working on it.
Right. That too. Thank you, Sandra.
We have another question. We need to have visa ready because I'm in the process of applying, but it will love to be on the scholarship. Yes, we do require you guys to have the visa ready. We can help you with an admission letter to include on this visa paperwork, but we do know that sometimes it takes more than 6 months to have an approved visa. So it will depend on how advanced your process is.
Thank you, Sandra.
And Jessica, please let us know your question.
Hello, good afternoon. Teacher Jessie from a university here in Mexico. And I'm here because some of my students are applying, right? And right now, taking the question is about the visa. So our students need to have the visa ready because, for example, 3 days ago, I sent the assignment for a student. So do I need to wait till I have an answer from that assignment, or do I need to get my visa already, or how does this work? I'm so sorry.
Yes, you should start the process and continue with your process. And what we can do is if you have already submit your application and it completes all the requirements that we need, we will be inviting you to an interview. And after that, we will send it to the admission committee for their final decision. And we're sending the acceptance notification by the end of June or first week of July. So until that date, we're going to be able to share any type of acceptance letter for the visa package that you may need.
Okay, perfect. I have another question.
Mhm.
I've heard about meetings. I'm so sorry I was late on the meeting, but I think they said that Thursday there will be a meeting. Is that correct or no?
The meetings for the sessions are going to be Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. on Mountain Time. 12 p.m., sorry.
Starting by this Wednesday?
Starting on
Let me tell you.
August 27, I think. It's the Tuesday.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Whitney, do you have a question?
Hello, yes. My name is Whitney Batiste. I'm the founding executive director of a maternal health organization in Mississippi called Pickles and Popsicles.
That's
Now,
awesome.
we are a nonprofit, yes, but of course we have impact work, but we also have a scalable, profitable arm of our nonprofit in between grant fundings. This is how we keep revenue coming in, we keep paid. So I would be applying under the organization, for the organization, but specifically talking about the part that is scalable, because our main impact work is just what we do in general. I don't know if that is scalable, but this one thing that we have, because we're already distributing this, we have partners across the country. This product goes to some of our partners across the country. We have about 10 national partners and 15 or so state partners. So I know it could work. Yes. What we've been running into is just funding to fully roll it out the way we would need to have the additional impact. And so I just wanted to, because someone asked about nonprofits applying, and so specifically for this, that we have a revenue arm that we're already utilizing, would this still be something good for me to apply to?
I would say, based on what I'm hearing, yes, I would love to learn a little bit more about what that looks like in action. But yes, I think in terms of scalability, it can take many shapes and forms. So I don't know, Sandra, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think it aligns well, and even if you don't have like a structure for continue growing, you will be able to do it during this fellowship, because this is like the main point that we like to emphasize. Help you guys grow your venture, explore different ways in which you guys could receive more funding, create more partnerships, and of course, you're going to be having a global community that will be able to help you and guide you as well. So yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this. I think it'll be good. Because this was just something we did by accident during COVID for the moms that we currently serve, and
Okay.
it took off. And so it is now our kind of base. That's what most people know us for. And so I'm in the process of being a part. I'm in a procurement program right now, to get us prepared for government contracting and grants and things like that. And so I need all the knowledge that I can to maximize this opportunity that we've created. So I thank you very much. I'm looking forward. I shall apply.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your question, and congrats on all the accidental success. We look forward to seeing your application come through. Thank you, Whitney.
Jorge, let us know your question.
Hi, hello, I'm Jorge. Thank you for the information.
Yeah.
My question is, you mentioned some areas where you're looking ventures that I focus on them. Do you accept any other areas, or just the ones that are focused on those that you mentioned?
For Rising Leaders of Mexico, we do accept different areas, but these are the ones like we are mainly focusing in. But if you have any other type of work, we are able to review your application, and it will depend mostly on the track that you have, the impact, and your next steps.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. We have another question in the chat. It is mandatory to demonstrate social impact in our venture. I'm working on a very scientific initiative, and many of my stakeholders involved are not local communities.
Not necessarily, I would say that it's mandatory, but we would like to hear about how your venture is creating a difference in whatever way that they're doing it, or at least, impact I think can be tricky to think about. But really we just want to hear what it is that you're offering and how that's making a difference or addressing a specific need in whatever community it is that you're in. I don't know if you'd like to have a follow-up, Erin. I hope that answers your question. Okay, cool.
All right, you did answer my question. Thank you.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. I'm glad you're still here. Okay, is there an age limit for the applicants? No, really, when we're looking at cohorts, we like to make sure that there is a sense of how would we say this, Sandra? We like a good, I wouldn't even say average, but we don't like anything too extreme on one side or the end, and that sort of takes its own shape depending on the applicants who come in. So, but no, there is no age limit. Yeah.
Would you share the recording of the meeting with us? Yes. So we are going to be sending a follow-up message with the recording of this session.
Yes, for sure.
Is there a maximum amount of time that the venture have been operating?
I'd
It
say
will depend.
yeah, that's a tricky one. I mean, really it comes down to again, I know this sounds so general, but it comes down to, will the programming benefit you where you're at? So maybe it's been a year, maybe it's been 4. Really, it's a matter of where you're at with what you've accomplished so far and the traction you've had with your venture, and if it makes sense for the next step to be scaling. So again, I don't think there's like a timeline or a time frame or cutoffs. It really just boils down to that. Let's see.
Last one is, after applying, how long will it be? How will it be notified of acceptance or denial?
So we are taking applications until June 22nd. And like we said, we're accepting them on a rolling basis after that. So it would be around that time, maybe sooner, but if not, by that end of June period is when you would hear back from us. I also got a direct message question. Where is the application website? We're actually going to be giving you guys some QR codes, as well as, I think I sent it in the chat. Let me resend this one specifically for you. Let's see. Are there any other? Oh, someone has their hand raised.
After Tatum.
Oh.
Hello, everybody. I'm in Houston. I just want to, I guess, a comment, and I hope I make my application. I run businesses, and I run a nonprofit, Collaborating Voices Foundation, and I'm a lead agency, so I handle over 300 other nonprofits. But I also teach business impact. So I'm hoping that's what you guys are talking about. And the reason why I do that is because, especially in every city, there is opportunity zones that businesses are in. And as we see disasters happening, for example, in Africa, because I have a grant for over 1,000 acres for solar farming, and then making sure that things are done, I am one of those people that goes into businesses and going, hey, I don't care if you're a nurse, I don't care, whatever you're doing, you should be giving back in your community. So a lot of people say, I'm not a business, I'm a nonprofit. I've worked in corporate America. Nonprofit is a business. That's one of my whole thing. I said, it is a business. Your exemption is a tax problem. But we are definitely a business of impact. But I tell everybody, I'm a realtor. I place domestic violence in veterans, but that is my business. So my business comes with my nonprofit. It comes together. Right now, I'm on my way. I'm trying to buy a shopping center and turn that into an impact resilience hub, and probably be the first one to do it. But I just always tell people, you're a nonprofit. Don't say you're not a business. We do way more paperwork than anybody else. And we are trying to convince people to give us funding. So I go into different businesses and I go, hey, I see that you're environmental and you're putting things in the end zone. So while you're doing all this to my environment, how much money you gonna give me to leave you alone? Because I'm going to harass you forever. So that's where I want to make sure my application is going to say that, and I look forward to meeting that. So that's why I always tell people, please don't put your nonprofit down thinking that you're not a business, because you are a business. We're about structure, and right now they closed out all the Job Corps. When something happens to a family and somebody loses their business, the first thing they do is, hey, what can a nonprofit do for me? So I need businesses to be our partners, and we are a business. Thank you, guys.
Okay, well, that was incredible. Thank you for the reminder for everyone in the nonprofit space. I think it's incredibly important work that everyone is doing, and your energy is amazing, and I'm so excited to see your application come in. Thank you. That was awesome. Let's see. Yes, incredibly motivating. Does anybody, if I missed your question, if any other questions come up, as you continue to review the information, really, we encourage you to email us. So when it comes to Flagship Fellowship, I would be your best point of contact. My email is here. We encourage you to scan the barcode. Again, we'll be sure to send you some information your way after this. But again, if it's Flagship Fellowship, I'm your girl. And then in terms of the Rising Leaders, Sandra would be the best point of contact there. Oh, we're getting some questions. What does the funding for this opportunity look like? So in terms of the actual funding, We don't have necessarily a funding opportunity, but what we do have is the programming that will give you the tools, resources, and knowledge to be able to take your funding goals and next steps to the next level. Let's see, can you please name the 2 fellowships open for apps? So it's the Flagship Fellowship and the Rising Leaders of Mexico Fellowship. When you also go on our website, you'll be able to see all of the fellowships listed, and they will explicitly say that they are currently open. Okay, answered. Awesome. The interview will be in English, yes, as well as the programming. Okay, I think that's everything. But again, as more questions come in, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Let's see what else. We have our barcodes. If you know someone that this might be a good opportunity for, we also have a nomination form that you can, and we will get that, we will receive that, we will review them. We do value a nomination. A lot of the times, some people are doing incredible work and they don't even realize it. So, you know, putting a spotlight on an entrepreneur is very much welcome. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like Sandra said, we're going to be sending over the recording. I'm sure we can also include some links and just some more information for you to guys get more acquainted with the information. And like I said, if any questions come up, really, Sandra and I will be your best points of contact. Other than that, I just want to thank you all for joining. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your interest in Watson Institute and its fellowships. And, you know, I really do hope to see some applications come in, and I'd love to hear more about all of the work that everyone is doing here. Oh, someone applied. Thank you so much. Sandra, is there anything you'd like to say before we send it off?
Yes, just thank you all for the time being here. We hope we did answer all of your questions. If any other question comes up to your mind, please don't hesitate to send us an email. We just share all of our information right here in the chat. So we will be looking forward to reviewing your applications.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. You were great. We really appreciate it. All the best.